I'm Courtney's cousin and very proud to be also maid of honor. And I really wish it was a little bit lighter and easier to see up here, but we'll get through it. Today might have been the most memorable, joyous, and definitely most emotional time I've stood next to Courtney. It's by far and away not the first time. Whether we were lined up getting ready for recess, dressed as a wolf and a pig during the curtain call for our school play, hearing our names announced one after another, waiting for our volleyball match to start, or getting ready to walk through our high school graduation. I have always been so incredibly proud to stand next to my cousin. Even when we had to stand with our backs to each other in timeout, for plans that to this day I attest were all her idea. See, the thing is, although I am technically and officially the oldest of 4 girls, I've actually always, my entire life, had a big sister in Courtney. Although she's only 3 months older than I am, I could always count on her to be brave and adventurous and independent. And for the past 32 years, I've been incredibly lucky to be able to look up to her and learn from her and in the way that she lives her life. And that pride and happiness continues today, as once again, I got to stand next to Courtney as she and Drew welcomed each other officially into their lives. And as I was standing up there, I looked to the 9 amazing women with me and the 9 incredibly handsome gentlemen to the left of me. And everyone out here, there and now, and I realized that everyone here really shares in that same sense of joy and pride in knowing these 2 people that I do. And I think that really is the true testament of Drew and Courtney's relationship. Their joy inspires joy in others. They are able to bring people together in celebration and in love. And when they do, it's also a pretty darn good time. So I want to end by saying something that I've said before to describe my relationship with my cousin, but I think also probably means a lot to a lot of people in this room. And that's the saying that they say that friends are the family that you get to choose. I feel so lucky that I didn't get a choice in the matter. And I got both of those things in my cousin Courtney, and now, of course, my friend Drew, who's part of my family. So if we could all please raise a glass to Drew and Courtney. I know we all feel incredibly blessed to have both of you in our lives.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah also. And Courtney and I have been friends for over 20 years now. Oh, no. She was my first friend when my family and I moved to Oxnard. And she's always been the type of person to lend a hand to a friend in need. That first day at school for me, I stood there crying, much like I am right now. And she invited me to play Red Rover. And in high school, she cleaned the bird poop off my hair when I got bombed on at lunchtime. And later in grad school, when she helped me move for probably the 10th time and realized she locked her keys in the car, and I realized I left my AAA card in my wallet in the apartment I moved out of. She scaled a 2-story building to get my wallet and save the day. And more recently, she volunteered and watched my screaming daughter and crazy weenie dog because she knew my husband and I really needed to go on a date. And so, Courtney and Drew, you are loved by so many, as you can see by your army of bridal party and all your friends and family here today. Oh, I'm shaking. And Drew, thank you so much for always making Courtney laugh, even if it's at her own expense. But you have always made my dear friends smile and laugh, and I thank you for that. And thank you for letting me be a part of your special day. And God bless you on your new adventure in life, and cheers to love, laughter, and happily ever after.
I've been thinking about this probably for longer than I've known Courtney, for when I was going to get this moment. I'm growing up. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I got one brother. He's the guy with the butter stain on his shirt over there at that table, covering his face. But starting in, I think it was September of 95, I met this clown over here. We were on the adjacent numbers on the PE field. I believe it was 43 and 44 maybe. And I didn't have any classes with him at that time, but luckily, for some reason, they needed to switch somebody to a couple different teachers, and this guy volunteered, and he ended up in our class. And from that day forward, I can say that, and I'm sure my mom will tell you, that I gained a new brother, because we've been about as close as friends can be, to the point where my mom has had to discipline him on several occasions. But I'm pretty sure I've told Drew this story, but if I haven't, it'll be good that he gets to hear it now. So Drew came into our class. It was Miss Vial's class. I believe it was history. And he sat at a table. I think it was me, James Campbell, Ken Miranda, for those of you that know these people. And then Drew joined our table. And we got a class assignment to do in class. And it was a sheet, open book. So we kind of assigned each person questions. So we get about halfway through, and I think Drew went to sharpen a pencil or something. And James looks to me and Ken and says, "You know what? This new guy's not really helping all that much. So here's what I'm going to do. If we knock before we give an answer, it's incorrect. So make sure you find the right one. But we'll just let him write down the wrong one." So, the next question comes, and James is like, "You know what? I think, knock, knock, the answer's A." So Drew circles A. We, of course, find the correct answer C and circle it. And we correct the assignment, and he just has this confused look on his face, like, why did I get a C on this, and these guys got A? I don't understand this. And I don't know if I've told him or not, but that's still, to this day, is one of the funniest things I think about in middle school. But from that day forward, and anybody who knows us will say, we've been about as tight as you can get as friends. He actually, Mom and Dad, you'll remember this, he asked a girl out pretending to be me and did not tell me. And this may have been in middle school, I'm not sure, but all I know is my dad went to my orthodontist appointment, sees the girl's mom and dad, and this is a girl I grew up with. And the mom says, "Oh my God, aren't you excited? Derek and Kelly are going to be going to Not Scary Farm." And my dad's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And she's saying all this stuff about us going out on a date. So we leave, we go home. My dad says to my mom, like, I don't know what just happened there, but apparently Derek and Kelly are going out. And she's like, "I don't think so." She asked me about it. I said, "Absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about." Come to find out, Drew had asked her out, pretending to be me, and just didn't tell me. And like I said, I grew up with this girl. Our families were friends. So needless to say, my mom is livid, because now it's embarrassing. She has to tell our family friends this. Drew comes over. I believe he had a bag of McDonald's or something like that. He walks in the house. My mom is on the phone with Kelly's mom. And he walks in the house like, "Oh, hey, Cindy." And she's like, "Go upstairs. Derek's waiting for you." And Drew did not say a word because he knew. I was like, "Oh, God, I'm in trouble." And came upstairs. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Dude, my mom knows about you asking Kelly out." He's like, "Ooh, is she going to come up here?" I was like, "Oh, absolutely she's coming up here." And that was the first time that she had to discipline him as though he were me. And we have a group of friends, and we'll tell you, Rex is sitting over there. He's the best of us. And then the rest of these degenerates over there, and then me and Drew were, at the bottom. So, it was a good time. But, Drew gave a good speech at my wedding, and I wanted to let you know, Courtney, even though Drew brought up an ex-girlfriend of mine during his speech at my wedding, by name, I will not do that to you tonight. I thought about it. No, that's not my ex-girlfriend. That's Drew's, apparently. So I'm going to make sure I get all my bullet points. I might have some more in here. I made sure to keep this as family-friendly as possible, but, kids weren't invited, so I was going to throw some other stuff in there, but I decided to leave it out. So we can go back. Drew and I were so close. Our 8th grade science teacher was convinced that this day would not come, at least at the time, because she was absolutely convinced that Drew and I were going to end up together. Because she knew in middle school, and this is not an exaggeration, every single night, Drew and I may have talked on the phone for over an hour, to the point, for Christmas, my mom got me my own phone line because we didn't have call waiting. So she's like, well, here you go. You can talk to Drew now. And I'm interested in girls at this point, but he's the only fool I talk to. I don't know why. So I just got to say, Drew, I'll close it out. I won't drag it on too long. You've been like a brother to me. Courtney, I don't care what anybody tells you. You are so beyond too good for Drew. You're the best thing that's ever happened to him. We all know it. And I just hope that he doesn't screw it up. And I don't think he will. Because we still talk on the phone a lot. We still hang out a lot. And I've never seen him as happy or just as complete as he is with you. And I can't imagine anyone better for my best friend. So everybody, if you could take your glass and raise it up to the beautiful new couple, to Andrew and Courtney Ramos.
All right. Evening. For those who don't know me, my name is Jim, proud father of Courtney Galloway, and now proud father-in-law of Drew. What's your last name? Ramos. You know, everyone that came up here spoke so eloquently, but I'm going to tell you right now, they are pale in comparison to the vows that these two wrote for each other. Yeah. Fantastic job. Poets laureate for sure. They were phenomenal. And Courtney's friends, they've been so loyal for so long, and anyone that knows Courtney, who grew up with her, or her brothers, her friends, her family, she is a very determined young lady. And she has always set her mind to something and set out to prove that, no, you cannot tell me I can't do this. I'm going to succeed at dance. I'm going to succeed at volleyball. I'm going to succeed at school. I'm going to get a degree. I'm going to be a great teacher. I mean, she's been determined her whole life. And Drew, Derek, I think you only gave half of what Drew's really about. I look forward to hearing more, because Drew is a very reserved, quiet young man. What? That's not public opinion? And, you know, I talk about Courtney's determination, but Drew's determination is unreal. When I first met Drew, I drove down to see Courtney coach her high school volleyball team. And she said, Dad, this is my friend, Drew. And I'd like, thank you, Drew. And I'm like, okay, Courtney's got a lot of friends. No big deal. So time goes by, and I go down a few more times, and Drew, the friend, is still there. But he's still just the friend, frontin'. And then lo and behold, she calls me one night and says, Drew's now my boyfriend. And I said, man, that guy's determined. He won't go away. And Courtney gave in to this pressing friend. And then Drew calls me and says, hey, I'd like to marry your daughter. And I said, well, I thought you were just a friend. What the heck? And it turns out he's a real good friend. And I'm really happy that Drew Ramos proposed to my daughter and showed up today and married her. He's a man of his word. He made me proud. Much like my daughter, and I know there's a lot of dads out here. You know, I had 3 sons, and I love my sons to death. They make me proud every day. And any dad will say, you know, when you have a son, boy, you got a career. You're going to be a coach. You're going to be an advisor. But then when you have a daughter, you turn into a protector. You're not so much the same level. I mean, you love your kids all the same, but when you have a baby girl, my God, it just lights up your world. And Drew, you better fucking take care of her. And so with that said, please raise your glasses to one of the greatest couples of all time, Courtney and Drew Ramos. I love you both. Thank you.